Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Today, in the paper of postcolonial studies, I would like to present on the topic of white Sargassoti, and for that, I would like to share my screen. It's visible. So, white Sargassoti, the story of the mad woman in the attic. So first of all, what is the this book, The Mad Woman in the Attic? It was the book written by Susan Gubar and Sandra M. Gilbert. It was published in 1979. It's present an analysis of the trope found in a 19th century literature. Gilbert and Gubar proposed that all female characters in a male author novels can be categorized is either an angel or a monster woman. Women in a fiction were either pure and submissive or sensual rebellions and uncontrollable qualities in a Victorian. More about that, Gilbert and Gubar discussed the angel monster trope in a novels written by a woman. It's covering the works of Jane Austen, Mary Shelley, George Eliot, Emily Dickinson, and the Brontes. They claim the 19th century female writers carried a lot of rage, frustration about the misogynistic world they lived in, and predominantly male literary tradition they tried to enter, and that is the gender specific frustration influenced this writer's creative output. According to Gilbert and Guber, their rage was often shown through the figure of the mad woman. If we talk about the title of the book is derived from the Jane Eyre's Bertha Mason, who is locked away by her husband, Mr. Rochester, in the attic of Thornfield Hall. She is an ominous character full of uncontrollable passion, violence, sensuality, and madness, almost bestial in her behavior. So, throw some light on a white Sargasso Sea. It was published in 1966. It was written by Dominican British author Jean Rhys. This novel serves as a post-colonial and feminist prequel to Charlotte Bronte's novel Jane Eyre, describing the background to Mr. Rochester's marriage from the point of view of his wife Antoinette Cosway, a cruel heiress. In this novel, now archetypal and heavily symbolic mad woman in the attic, it explores the Victorian paternalism, sexualized racism, and the complex social and political history of the West India. So, White Sargassoti, in the context of the story of the mad woman in the attic, it still provides an important commentary on a class, male-female relationship, and what it means to be a white English gentleman or woman, all of which Jane Eyre is also concerned with. If we talk about that in about Jane Eyre, that in a Jane Eyre, Bertha is not given a voice, but is instead declared made by Rochester. Hearing her story in a Rees novel, however, we feel far more sympathy for the confined woman taken far from her home and everything she knows. In a White Sargassoti, Jane herself is barely mentioned, and Rochester is never explicitly named. However, the reader does also get to read the story from his point of view. In addition to Antoinette, Rochester was a Byronic hero in a Jane Eyre. Is manipulative and unfaithful, yet ensure conflicted in insecure in this novel. No character is wholly villainous or heroic, and the varying viewpoints help the reader get a sense of the complex social rules and expectation that frame the character interactions. We can therefore be both sympathetic and critical of each of the characters, and this extends to the classic text too. While reading White Sargassoti, problematized Rochester and thus Jane and Rochester's relationship. It doesn't spoil Jane Eyre as a work or the character presented in it. White Sargassoti merely gives the reader a nuanced view on what in a Jane Eyre is presented by Rochester as a clean-cut situation that Bertha is mad. Here we get to decide for ourselves that to believe, and I think the experience of reading Jane Eyre is richer for it. In the Jane Eyre was first read, most readers may mainly focus on Jane. Jane was considered as an ungenerate and undisciplined spirit. She represents a protest against conventionality. Few thoughts were directed towards Bertha Mason. Bertha, in our minds, at that time was just an obstacle to Jane and Rochester happiness and was finally removed by her own suicide during the fire at Thornfield. Thus, Jane and Rochester could marry each other at last and lead a happy life. Everyone was content with the ending and forget about Bertha. So, however, it is striking for readers now to read the work of Jean Rhys, White Sargassoti, when putting on a feminist glass and read Jane Eyre again. Readers pay much more attention to everything about Bertha. From the period of Jane Eyre to White Sargassoti, the colonials had gained independence from the Great Britain. Jean Rhys created the vivid and meaningful character of the maid woman through feminist perspective. If we talk about Bertha Mason, and Antoinette was a victim of patriarchy and colonialism. She was a woman being oppressed and victim who could not speak for herself. Bertha Mason in the Attic served as a warning to other rebelling women against the patriarchy social restraints. Her situation indicates that all women must accept the social restraint in a Bronte's Jane Eyre. However, in a more recent times, Jean Rhys, a white Creole herself, wrote the story White Sargassoti from the point of view of Bertha's view. The story is in many ways a evolution of Jane Eyre. Jane Rhys wrote White Sargassoti to show how Bronte's novel excludes the parallel plight of the Creole woman Bertha Mason. Consequently, Jane Rhys gave a strong voice to Bertha Mason in the story. Bertha is not Bertha in Jane Eyre but Antoinette in the White Sargassoti. She is no longer a horrible mad woman in the dark attic. Instead, she is a very lively, cruel girl with her own spirit, thoughts, and love. When Antoinette's husband called her Bertha, Antoinette said that Bertha is not my name. You are trying to make me into someone else, calling me by another name. So that was the reason. That was the also reason that she getting mad in the novel. Conclusion that in the sum of we can say that White Sargassoti speak of the history of cruelty and suffering that lies behind some of the West's accumulated wealth, a history in which Jane Eyre is secret and mysterious and only appears in a brief glimpse. This book gives voice to neglected, silenced, and unknowledged stories, exploring different inflections of marginality. Here is my references. Thank you.